Hello, my name is Josh Falwell, and I will be doing a little presentation on a PowerPoint on relaxation. Sorry if it's hard to understand me. My allergies are really bad right now. So who can benefit? Relaxation is basically a term that involves a lot of different techniques that calm the body and mind for anyone. Uh, I have down here athletes, beginners, as in starting a new exercise progression, and then people reaching out of their comfort zone. This last bullet point is to show that relaxation can benefit pretty much any population. Say you have a presentation at work that you're nervous for, or a presentation at school, or you're a new parent. These are a lot of things that cause a lot of anxiety, and relaxation techniques are really good for calming the body, and working through these situations. Why relaxation methods important? I have for my first bullet that they're calming the nerves when starting something new. Next is that it allows us to focus in on our goal, block out distractions, and increase performance. These are all kind of building on one another. If you're in a sporting event or in exercising and you have a lot of distractions, it's going to distract you from your focusing on your goal, and then you're probably going to see a decrease in performance. So if you're able to use relaxation to avoid some of these distractions, focus in more on your goal, and then increase your performance. Um, you're going to see all of this calming the nerves and stuff when you're starting something new or in a different setting. So, say you're at an away game and the fans are doing really well and distracting you from your shots. If you can use relaxation methods to reduce those distractions, you'll increase your performance. So, when should we relax? Practicing relaxation, this can be done before an event, during an event, the night before an event, or even several weeks before an event. A good example of this would be like a wedding, something that you've planned for years and years, and then whenever it gets closer and closer, you just get more anxious and more anxious. Even whenever people don't think they will get anxious at all, oftentimes people do. And relaxation methods, they're good for any acute sense of anxiety that you're experiencing. Maybe one night you're just starting to have a panic attack because you have a couple tests upcoming in a couple weeks, or the wedding's in a couple weeks. The relaxation method can help you get through that. And you can use that every night, anytime you experience symptoms, or even the night before those exams, just to make sure you avoid having any anxiety coming up to it. It's a really good way to treat the symptoms and have a long term method to reduce anxiety. The first method of relaxation that we're going to be going over is diaphragmatic breathing. I put this one first because I think it's the easiest to get the hang of, and it holds the most benefits for the widest range of people. This can be done pretty much anywhere. It can be done while you're sitting in class, sitting at work, sitting at home, in bed before you go to sleep. And it's just practicing receiving full amounts of oxygen and increasing the amount of oxygen that our body is getting for a short period of time. It'll help us slow the heart rate, stabilize blood pressure, um, and it's something that allows our mind to focus on the breathing instead of the things that are causing the anxiety. Oftentimes, our mind will wander at night, and it can cause a lot of anxiety. And if we focus in on our breathing, it can help you go to sleep, reduce the increased heart rate, and again, treat those symptoms. A good form of diaphragmatic breathing is known as belly breathing, which is putting one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. And when you breathe in, you should just feel the hand on the stomach inflating and the hand on the chest staying the same. Of course, we know the lungs are not in the stomach, but just really utilizing the lower part of the chest and that diaphragm to really get those deep breaths. The second method of relaxation is imagery. This involves allowing the individual to place themselves in a setting that is familiar and comfortable, which again helps block out the distractions. My example here is a basketball player picturing their home gym, or someone new to an exercise picturing their actual home. Um, Imagery can be as simple as saying you enjoy the beach, and when you get stressed out at work, you picture yourself at the beach, where it's calm, it's somewhere you like to be, and you can work on your breathing. Um, Again, back to basketball or any exercise setting. If you're in a away setting, it can be uncomfortable. It can be stressful, and picturing yourself in a comfortable setting will help increase that performance and decrease that anxiety. The next method is progressive muscle relaxation. Um, this is a little more advanced, but still can be done by pretty much anyone. This simply involves tightening a muscle group as you inhale and then relaxing that muscle group as you exhale. It's good for athletes in high pressure settings. Um, it's helpful if you're struggling with anxiety or suffering from anxiety related symptoms. It's probably not something you can do while in an event or in a presentation, but definitely something you can do if you're in the locker room or on the bus ride there or the night before and you're laying in bed and you're experiencing some angst. Just tighten each muscle and then relax it. It allows you to focus on something that's not the pressure or any of these things that are creating the anxiety. Instead, you're just focusing on the relaxation of exhaling as you relax your muscles. The next relaxation method is autogenic training. This one is more advanced training, definitely something that takes a lot of practice, probably not for beginners. This just involves essentially connecting that mind body connection and being able to almost tell your body or give a command from your brain to tell your body to relax. I know it sounds gimmicky, but there's research that backs that it does work. And almost when you detect your heart rate spiking or your mind starting to wander, you can control yourself and tell yourself to relax, and physiologically, your body will respond to your mental state. Again, it takes a lot of practice, probably not something that you can start with, but start with the diaphragmatic breathing imagery and then work your way up. The next method is biofeedback therapy. Again, probably a little more advanced, a little more in depth, someone who's already tried the other methods and wants to try something new. It's a more involved method of connecting a sensor that actually responds to changes in the body. Um, so if it feels a certain muscle tensing or feels an increase in your heart rate or respiration rate, you can actually see that and then try and control it, try and get a grasp on it early before you start to have a panic attack or before the symptoms start to become overwhelming. Probably again not something you can do during an event or during a new class, but definitely something you can do beforehand or the night before. There are always ways to improve. So the take-home message is that there's always a way to improve your mental state. There's always a way to treat your anxiety. A lot of people turn to medication or physician's care, which of course can help, but there's other ways to try and nullify those symptoms, and relaxation methods are a really good way and a really safe way to try it. I have that it's important to not get overwhelmed and ultimately discourage yourself with your performance because of something that could have been avoided. A lot of times the pressure will build for example, in a basketball game, and they'll end up missing a shot. They'll become very discouraged that they weren't able to handle that pressure. And then the next time they get there, they're going to have more applied pressure on themselves because they weren't able to do it before. Instead, work on your relaxation, get control of your symptoms, your increased heart rate, your muscle tension, all of that, and then ultimately increase performance, as we mentioned before. And my last bullet is take time to reflect on yourself, discover which method works best for you. We're not going to have the same result with every single method to every single person. Everyone is different. I recommend trying each one, figuring out which one works, and then mastering it and utilizing it in any setting that you find can create stress, like driving on a road in a very trafficked road and you're worried you might hit a car. Practice that imagery. Practice that imagery being on a back road by yourself in your hometown, something like that. So I hope this presentation helps everyone with relaxation. Give it a try and control the symptoms.